I'm Tom.
And we are Velocities in Music, VIMTV. Today, we're going to do a new 2010 album, Cee-Lo Green, The Lady Killer. Now, Cee-Lo, you press play on this CD, you're probably going to realize right away that kind of sounds like James Bond. That's on purpose. But Tom, what do you know about Cee-Lo? What does this sound like? What do you know about Cee-Lo's history? I know that you've done some research on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, Cee-Lo, he's been around for a long time. He's in Goody Mob, early rapper and stuff, and he's really kind of matured and grown into a good R&B presentation, which is really what this is. It's focus on the presentation, the delivery of the sound, which is very much soul and R&B influenced, but at the same time, it's produced very modernly. It's very similar to what we were saying that Big Boy was doing with hip hop on his album Sir Lucius Left Foot, the Son of Chico Dusty, is kind of what Cee-Lo Green is doing here, only rather than with hip hop, with more of a pop R&B sound.
Yeah, and almost like a 70s funk pop, throwback style.
And he's got that kind of instrumentation in there. There's some horns. There's even, I believe, Old Fashioned, track 12, which, the name fits really what the song is, because it's kind of a throwback to, maybe even those 50s kind of soul groups, that kind of waltz-ish vibe.
Yeah, and this is getting classified in a lot of different websites out there as a hip-hop album. It's clearly not. You're going to hear... I don't even know if there is any hip-hop on the album.
I don't think there's much rapping. Certainly some of the songs have kind of a bounce to it.
Yeah, the beats.
But not all of them. Not enough to really call it a hip-hop album, I would say. It's more pop, R&B, soul and funk influence is what I'd call it. But Cee-Lo is really... He's a fantastic performer. He's a fantastic singer.
Yeah, the vocals are definitely a highlight.
Yeah, you've heard a lot of him in the past 5 years with Gnarls, Barkley, and it's that same kind of vocal style, only it's being backed by a different sound, and that's what really makes a difference between this and Gnarls, Barkley. But the production on this album is top notch.
Yeah,
it's very smooth. It doesn't completely bastardize the soul and funk influences by just being over-synthesized and poppy. It is poppy, but it doesn't... it pays a good...
homage.
Yes. That's the exact word I was looking for.
And you're the English major.
I know. You got my back. So,
Man.
So what do you think? Yeah.
I really like this album. And it's definitely more... It's almost like it was catering to my taste in an album, because that's exactly what The Lady Killer is. It's an album. The first track is The Lady Killer's theme song intro, and the last track is The Lady Killer theme song outro, and then the whole thing kind of tells this story. And lyrically, we already highlighted the vocals, and Cee-Lo's vocals are very good, and that's something that's probably my favorite part of the entire album. But then to add to that, the lyrics tell a story, and while he's putting on this guise, it's kind of this metaphor as the lady killer and how he's murdering women. It's actually more about the breakup of a relationship and the feelings and processes that one goes through when they're going through that situation. And so the album kind of progresses, and it eventually ends up at track 13, which is the last full song on the album, which is No One's Gonna Love You, a cover of the Band of Horses song off of Cease to Begin. And I think that's actually a really good cover. It might even be better than the original.
It is. It's a very good interpretation. He makes it his own.
Yeah,
which is really what you want.
It's heartfelt too, and kind of highlights the fact that this is, there's a lot of bitterness and anger towards this relationship that's split up, whether it be something in Cee-Lo's life or whatnot. But the point is that the whole album is about presentation, and maybe not so much about really quality instrumentation. And that might be my biggest criticism with it, but it's really not going to affect the score. I give it too much just because I like it so much. But there's not a lot to cling on to here besides the presentation, the vocals, and some of the lyrics. And I feel like that could hinder the CD after 10 listens, 15 listens, 20 listens. I feel like you're gonna wear thin a little bit. You're not gonna cling to it as much because there's just not as many layers as there is to something some other albums out there.
And okay, and you really kind of hit on the biggest criticism I had as far as the sound goes. I've got two main complaints about this album. One's with the sound, one's with the way he executes the concept of the album. But as far as my problem with the sound goes, is Well, I love the sound, actually. Right. I love the sound. I love the presentation of it, everything you said. But the thing is, I feel like sometimes the songwriting isn't up to par with the ambition and what he's going for.
That's a good point.
And there are some highlights for sure, but I think there's maybe 5 tracks in there that, while they're enjoyable, they don't jump out at you. They don't really grasp you as much as they probably could. My other big complaint is that with this Lady Killer concept, it's a great concept. I wish he would have taken it a step further. I almost wanted more of a story, because you've got this intro that's so classy and so dangerous. But, and you get that in some of the lyrical themes, but I would have liked for it to even have more of a story, have it be a little more upfront about that concept.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the lyrics are quite easy to interpret. It's not like you have to decode them at all. They're pretty much spoon-fed to you, and that's something that, I prefer to not be spoon-fed my lyrics. I like to figure them out and kind of like a puzzle. But that's just me. But I felt like overall the lyrics are something that I did enjoy about the album. It was fun to listen to. But partially maybe that's because there's just, what else do you focus on here? The songs are relatively simple in comparison. But overall, I mean, just the presentation, the spacing of the tracks. One thing I did note is there's some more popular tracks on here, like Fuck You, track 3, which is the big single, or Forget You on the radio.
It's a great song.
It is,
and it's so catchy.
And Cry Baby's another one of those really big pop songs. And while that's there, he does a good job of, there's some really poppy tracks and there's some more experimental tracks, and he does a good job of spacing them out so they're not all butted up against each other. And that allows the album to move through fluidly, which is absolutely, it's absolutely mandatory that he does that if he's going to have a good concept record, which I think he accomplished. And so that's one thing that I do like. I feel like it's impressive. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I am impressed by the album.
I liked it.
Tom, my favorite tracks are track 4, Wildflower, and track 5, Bodies, and then track 10, Fool For You.
I'm going to go track 3, Fuck You. That's probably going to be one of my favorite songs to come out this year.
Oh, yeah.
Track 5, Bodies, also a good kind of creepier track. And track 7, Satisfied.
Yep. And I'm feeling like this is an 80 for me. Like, that's where I'm at.
I'm going to go 76.
And this is in that range where it's just, this is a really good album. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think that Cee-Lo nailed it with the Lady Killer? Are we missing something here about something that he's doing, maybe production-wise or songwriting-wise, about putting these tracks together that maybe we weren't picking up on? But let us know what you guys think, because, Cee-Lo's pretty popular.
Yeah.
So let us know what you think. Leave us a comment at YouTube or at our website, www.velocitiesmusic.com. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.